Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to share with you about our visit to what is known as the Venice of the French Alps, also called the Pearl of the French Alps, a town called Annecy, France. So this is definitely a majestic and beautiful place you're going to want to make sure you visit next time you visit France. Stay with us. We are Dennis and Min. Come join us on our traveling adventures around the world. So Min and I have some friends that are from France that invited us to stay with them at their home, their beautiful little chalet in Annecy, France. And I've got to be honest with you, I had never heard of Annecy, France ever before in my life until meeting this wonderful couple. And I'm so glad we went there and were able to check out all that there is to see and do. And so in this video, we're going to share with you some of the sights and things to do in and around the town of Annecy, and also fantastic places that you're going to want to make a visit to that are within about an hour, hour and a half's drive outside of the town of Annecy. So where is Annecy? Annecy is located just south of Lake Geneva. It is in France, and so there are these beautiful little hamlets filled with these wooden chalets all throughout the region. And Annecy is a small town on the north end of Lake Annecy, which is a huge lake, which is, again, south of Geneva. And so it is very close to the Swiss border and also not too far from the Italian border as well. Annecy is made up of a population of about 50,000 that swells immensely in the summer months, where tourism is a very popular industry. Year-round, there's a lot of things to do in and around Annecy, but if you like the outdoors, Annecy is definitely for you in the spring and summer months. Bicycling is a big thing there. They have biking trails and paths all around. If you're into waterfalls and nature, the water in Lake Annecy is probably some of the purest water you will ever find in Europe. And it is very much a parasailing or paragliding haven. So you have a lot of professionals that compete there, but also for people like us that were there for the first time trying parasailing. It was something I don't think I would have done before, but I'm glad that I did it. And we also took in a lot of the sights of the old town, which is very scenic, a lot of great architecture. And if you just want to take in a beautiful French town, Annecy is definitely it. And the lake itself is kind of surrounded all around by these mountains. So it's set in this valley, and if you've ever been to Yosemite, if you're from California or been there, Annecy reminded me a lot of like a smaller version of Yosemite and its beautiful valley. And so it is just so gorgeous in the summertime, which is when we were there. And I would definitely recommend taking in the parasailing and also this newer sport I came to learn about called canyoning. Now, the town of Annecy is very beautiful. There are several rivers or canals that lead into the city that empty into Lake Annecy. And just some amazing historic architecture. Of course, you've got many restaurants, eateries, cafes where you can sip your coffee outside on the patio and people watch overlooking the canals. You've got plenty of places that are selling gelato, ice cream, and crepes, which you've got to try when you're there. And it's very bikeable. I would not recommend driving too much because parking is going to be a little bit busy in the summer months especially, but many people bike or take motorbikes into the town. And it is on the north end of the city, and you can actually bike all around the lake, which is very big. But whether you have your own bike or you can rent bikes, it's just a beautiful way to take in the city of Annecy and the surrounding lake. In addition to bicycling being a very big thing in and around Annecy. On the water, you can actually boat, you can also do wakeboarding, you can also swim in the lake. It's very, very clean and fresh water. And they also have these pedal boats, which are kind of fun, that we did as well. I did not do too well on the wakeboarding. I tried, but I'm just getting too old for that kind of thing. Now, I'm going to have in the description below also some names of very prominent waterfalls in and around Lake Annecy that I would recommend taking in. They're pretty easy to access and get to. They're within 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the lake. Maybe take another 10, 15, 20 minutes to actually get to the waterfall, but the trails are just outside of the lake itself. Now, if you're there, especially in the summer months in Annecy, there's one thing that you cannot help but notice, especially if you look up in the sky above Lake Annecy, are all of these parasailers. And it is one of the premier locations for parasailing in all of Europe. And it actually hosts international competitions. And our French friends that we stayed with actually own a company. I'll have their information in the description below, called FBI, and they host these canyoning and parasailing adventures and excursions. I would highly recommend doing it because it is a lot of fun. It gives you some incredible views of the town of Annecy and the surrounding area and the lake, but also the canyoning is kind of a newer thing that I had not even been exposed to before. I'm really glad that I did it, and it's something that you should definitely take in on your trip to Annecy. Now, a little bit about parasailing. It is not something I ever had any intention of wanting to do. You see a lot of people doing it there though, and I would not have done it had I not come to know our friend Pasquale even more. Come to find out, he competes internationally all around the world, wins a lot of prizes and awards. He's been doing it for many, many decades. He has a lot of experience. All the companies there are credible and good, but I felt very comfortable because our friend is one of the premier parasail pilots in all of France, and he is chosen specifically to compete internationally in representing their country. So felt very comfortable with him as our tandem pilot. So you don't do it alone. You always are with a pilot in tandem on this parasail. And the other reason that made us decide to do it is because when we went to the landing area and both where you take off, I saw all these people, from children to people in their 70s and 80s, doing this. People that were disabled and handicapped in wheelchairs are doing this parasailing. And at the peak of summer, they have 200 people taking off per hour. That's how many people are doing this parasailing. So it's well organized. It's extremely safe. You don't have to worry about, there's always that chance something could go wrong, but we felt completely comfortable. And I think when you're there and you see all these people, young and old, doing it, you will probably get over your fears a little bit. But the views are fantastic. It's just such an incredible, peaceful experience just floating up there in the sky. Now, have you heard of canyoning before? I had never heard of canyoning before. I guess it's kind of a thing now, but our friend Pasquale also leads these tour groups down these rivers in and around Lake Annecy. There's several areas that they can go to, and they vary in the duration, and it's usually groups of 4 or 5 people to as many as 12 at a time. And Pasquale will lead these groups down the river over these rocks, and you're also traversing down via ropes down these rock faces. So a little physical endurance is required. The water is cold, but it feels very refreshing, especially on a hot summer day. But we felt very comfortable with Pasquale as our guide. Again, a lot of companies are doing this there. They're very credible and definitely certified to do this kind of thing. But if you are not good with ropes and traversing down rock faces, you might want to reconsider, but it is a lot of fun and it's another way to overcome your fears. So after you've taken time to explore all around Lake Annecy, these are some excellent places I would also recommend checking out that are within an hour's drive of Lake Annecy. I'm probably going to murder the names of these places, so please have patience with me on the pronunciation. But one I think I've got down pretty well is Mont Blanc. And this is the highest peak in all of Europe. And it is accessible from the Italian side and also the French side. So what we did is we did a long journey along the southern part of south of Mont Blanc, and we actually went from France into Italy and then through the mountain to the other side, which is the French side, and then from there we took a cable car up to the very top of Mont Blanc. Now, many people hike up this mountain, they ski down this mountain, and even in the summer, there is snow everywhere, as you can see. I will say that the drive along the southern part, leading us to that tunnel that took us under and through the mountain, is so scenic. It is a very popular road for the Tour de France, and very, very scenic. Although, as you can see here, sometimes there is some rush hour traffic. Yes, so we were able to get through that, but the scenic view is just amazing from Annecy all the way to when you get to Mont Blanc. And do note that if you do take the tunnel that goes underneath the mountain from Italy to France, it's about 50 euros, so it's not a cheap tunnel ride. But when you do get to the other side, you'll find parking, and then you can take the cable car up to the very top, and it's a really cool place to take in the scenic panoramic views from the top of Europe's highest point. Our friend that we stayed with, her mother lives in Courchevel, which is not too far outside of Lake Annecy. And so we actually went there for a few hours and spent some time with her, had a nice lunch there. And in the summertime, there's not much going on in Courchevel. It's still a beautiful place. But in the wintertime, so they say, it is a winter wonderland. It is not cheap though. If you want to do some skiing, if you want to stay in a hotel, the demand is just so high that everything commands very high prices. But it's probably one of the most scenic, picturesque, beautiful places in the wintertime in all of France, if not Europe. And another stop, I want to make sure I get the name right, is Les Gorges du Fier. So this is a huge gorge that cuts through the terrain, and at the bottom is this river that runs through the gorge, but they actually have these pathways that are connected to the sides of these cliffs. And so you're traversing along the sides of these rocks, and you're overlooking the river along the way. Very scenic, and it's not too far, maybe 20 minutes outside of the town of Annecy. And if you're into hiking, there's a wonderful hike that our host took us to, which is about an hour's drive outside of Lake Annecy. It's called Bargy Massif, and there you will find these native alpine ibex, and these are beautiful animals. It allows you to get up close and personal. They're all over the place, and they're not really afraid of humans. They don't really run away when you're there, but you can also climb to the top of this ridge. It was a little too dangerous at the time that we went to get to the very top of that ridge, but if you can make it there, you've got some beautiful panoramic views of the other side. But even though we didn't make it quite to the top, we still had some great views on the way up and on the way down. Of course, one thing that France is known for are its wonderful cheeses. And so there are no shortage of places that you can stop by and have a little tour and sample of local cheesemakers, as we did here on one of our drives.
C'est la caillette du haut, tout simplement. La caillette du haut.
And I'm just going to put the name here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm still trying to learn Portuguese, much less French. Here are some pictures of a place that we went to just outside of Lake Annecy. Crête des Châtillons is another wonderful lookout with 360-degree views all around the area by Lake Annecy. So it's a short drive from the lake, and you do have to wind up a little bit in and around the mountain. And when you get to the top, oh, amazing views as you see here. Obviously, the clearer the day, the better it is to take that in. We hope you enjoyed this visit to Lake Annecy in France. And if you haven't yet, please do us a favor and like and subscribe. And please comment and let us know if you've been to Lake Annecy. Thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you again on the next video. Happy travels.